Good morning and welcome to Love Every Moment, coming to you today from Clifton, Arizona. Well, today's verse is Matthew 5:21, but I'm also going to read the first part of verse 22. It says, "You have heard that the ancients were told, 'You shall not commit murder,' and 'Whoever commits murder shall be liable to the court.' But I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother shall be guilty before the court." Now remember, this is coming off the whole idea of keeping the law, and I covered this in last week's session, and of course the session before that I have last week's one right here. And Jesus wants us to keep the law, but unlike the Pharisees, who were the best professional law keepers of the letter of the law, Jesus wants us to go beyond that and keep the heart of the law, the intent of the law, the love of the law. And so it's not just murder, it's anger. So, I want to hit a subject that I see the American church buying into, and I don't see it as a biblical practice, and that is the idea of righteous indignation. You hear people talking about this. I have righteous indignation in this situation or against this person or whatever. In other words, I'm justified to be angry, and I should be angry. Grr. But I'm going to suggest not only is that not in the Bible, but that the Lord really wants us to get over our anger very quickly. And so if we are practicing righteous indignation, we're probably going to stay angry until whatever situation gets resolved, which may be a very long time. Now, you may say, but Jesus was angry, and so shouldn't we be angry? Well, yes, Jesus drove out the money changers in the temple out of anger. But remember, Jesus is God, and there are certain things that God can do that we're not supposed to, such as judge. He's allowed to judge, we're not. Or taking vengeance. God says, vengeance is mine. He doesn't want us taking vengeance. I'm going to suggest that the whole idea of righteous indignation, if that exists, that's God's territory, and we are not to get involved in that. And I learned my lesson, a couple decades ago. There was this awful court case about abuse in a daycare center, and the media was talking about all these terrible things that were going on in the daycare, and I don't want to get involved in all the little details, but it was sickening, and every day the details got even worse. And then a couple of weeks later, the district attorney basically dropped all charges, and we were wondering, what? I was ready to crucify these people. But it turns out it was really shoddy detective work where the detectives were leading the kids into saying things that didn't really happen. Of course, kids also have quite an imagination, and that had to be sorted out too. So the people who were accused were exonerated, but their lives were ruined. They were ruined because of the media, because of the detectives, but also because of me, because I had righteous indignation. And again, I was ready to crucify these people, but I was wrong. I didn't have all the information. God did. And I should have just left that to Him. And I'm going to suggest that when we are really angry, and even if we think we're justified, we might say, God, you're better at being angry than I am. Let Him handle that. Let me give a cross-reference. Let's see, how about Ephesians 4:26? It says, "Be angry, and yet do not sin." So how can we be angry and not sin? It continues, "Do not let the sun go down on your anger." One way is God recognizes that we're humans. We'll get sad, we'll get angry, we'll get upset. It happens. We are human. He understands normal human anger. But it shouldn't fester. We need to bring it to Him and let Him deal with that. Here's the best part of all. As we jump down to verse 31 and 32, it says, "Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with all malice." Those things shouldn't be a part of the Christian life. All of it should be gone. "And be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving each other, just as God in Christ has forgiven you." So how can we possibly do this when such injustices or terrible things happen? I deserve to be angry. The way is love. And that's why. if we love every moment, we're going to love every moment. I'm your average wretch, and I hope you have a great week.